October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and yesterday was a big win for victims' rights advocates here in California.
Political reporter Morgan Reiner joins us now with some of the changes that Governor Newsom just signed into law. Morgan.
Before yesterday, people who were married were not considered in the rape category. It was an entirely different category, a category that was far less serious.
Nilda Valmores is the executive director of My Sister's House.
Our survivors, who often are immigrants and have been raised with strong cultural histories and values where they believe that they have to often submit to sex just because they are married.
California was one of fewer than a dozen states that had separate, far less serious rape laws for spouses. Yesterday, that changed.
So educating them about these laws, including the men in the communities, will let everyone know that forced sex, even in a marriage, is just that, forced sex.
33% of rapes that are reported are actually by a spouse or a partner.
Dr. Navneet Kaur specializes in couples and trauma therapy. She called the other new law, which criminalizes removing a condom without consent as civil battery, a victory for more than just domestic violence survivors.
Also for the sexual assault community, I know a lot of the excuse, is what I will call it, is that it doesn't feel as good. And so some people will either try to convince the victim at first to not wear a condom, or just like you were saying, remove it without the victim knowing that it's been removed. And the victim didn't consent to that. Therefore, it is battery.
That is another example of how sexual abuse and sexual violence happens in that absence of consent.
Tasha Delian Lee is a director at St. John's Program for Real Change. They serve hundreds of survivors a day.
Domestic violence definitely thrives in secrecy and not talking about it.
All three women agree that the horrific case of Gabby Petito is bringing the discussion of domestic violence to the dinner table and helping people realize and understand that domestic violence is not always easy to predict. It comes in different shapes and sizes. So they agree there needs to be more education, but for now, they're taking a victory lap over what happened yesterday.
And Morgan, when it comes to stealthing, what is the proposed punishment at this point?
Well, it's civil, not criminal, so that means a victim can sue the perpetrator for damages and relief, aka money.
Morgan Reiner reporting live. Big day for domestic violence advocates or awareness advocates. Thanks, Morgan.